The Raptors might not be good, fellas, but goddamn, they are a fun team to watch. This is the most fun Raptors team since the 2020 title defense.
Ooh,
like this,
okay.
I love watching them, and yeah, they're not getting results, but they're just so fun and they're showing a lot of heart.
I liked them in the post-Tampa year, but this is best case scenario. If you're a Raptors fan, what's happening now is an ideal situation.
They're getting slept on, and you love to see them shine.
I am frothing at the mouth to see a fully healthy roster.
Well, and that's the thing. We still haven't even seen that. This is Basketball Island. Hein, Hambone, Fab. And yeah, you nailed it on the head. We have yet to see RJ, Quickly, Scotty Barnes on the court together at the same time.
Since March 1st, which is crazy.
That's even crazier. And you know what? It's actually really benefited Gradey Dick. Gradey Dick looks like a legit good NBA player. Especially we're taping this on Tuesday. He was their go-to guy offensively in that loss to the Nuggets.
This is a dream. Go ahead. Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, when we did our Raptors preview pod, we were talking about most improved player candidates, and we talked about RJ Barrett and Barnes and Quickly. We didn't mention Gradey Dick.
We missed the shortest guy that's out there right now, so shout out to him. Yeah, he's jumped, I think, FanDuel opened them 120 to 1.
120 to 1 to win most improved player.
Yeah, that's tenfold down now. It's now 12 to 1. So if you missed the train on that, sorry. Dick, he's for real.
And confirmed, I think we all missed the train, right?
Yep.
we all have Raptors in my
it.
defense, but
No one is
have
claiming
Gradey Dick.
it.
Yeah.
I think
no
we
one's
all
claiming.
thought he was a good player. He had the right instincts. He had good feel. But I think what's impressed us most is just that his shot making ability. Like, he's running off screens. He's got endless amount of energy, shooting 57% on mid-range jumpers. That leads the league on at least 25 attempts. Like, he's a guy now that provides gravity for the Raptors that other teams have to stop. I mean, we saw in that Denver game, there are moments there where they're putting their best defender on Gradey. They're blitzing him. Like, if he runs off his screen, he's not just a shooter. He's looking to go downhill off those screens as well. He's got a little bit of a floater game. The guy's trying sky hooks.
Dude, there's a lot in the bag.
It's very interesting. I think no better season than let this guy figure himself out, see what he can do. He still gets attacked defensively, but then he also had that great stop on De'Aaron Fox at the end of the Kings game. He's going to the ground against Anthony Edwards in that Wolves game.
yes.
He's
That was one
showing
of the
us some
best
stuff.
plays of the year.
Explore the space, my friend.
I was going to say, against the Kings, they tried to target him all fourth quarter. He held his ground on a majority of those possessions, and we highlighted it before the season that can he improve as a defender? Now, teams are still going to go after him. He still has to prove himself constantly that he can stand up to, good ISO players attacking him, but it's encouraging so far.
Well, he's got very good size, and he's an underrated athlete, and we're definitely seeing that.
I don't want to go hyperbole, but he could very well end up by the end of the season being the best individual shot maker of anybody on the team. Better than Scotty, IQ, and RJ. It's possible. He's showing his range of shot making in the mid-range that I didn't know existed. I just didn't know he had that. And you're looking at the degree of difficulty in some of these shots he's hitting. It's like, I don't know who on the team can hit them like that. I think Scotty can't hit some of those shots he hits, right?
It's the confidence in which he's taking those shots. Now, obviously, through 8 games, his usage is higher because those guys are out. So it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain that efficiency with the usage going down. Logic would tell you that would be the case.
You think once he slots into his proper role, when you have to defend Quickly and you have to defend Scotty, and he's sort of your third or fourth option out there, you'd think the looks are just going to get better and the efficiency will go up.
He has the energy to continuously run off screens, cut, and the defense is paying attention to that. Like, he's incredibly efficient on all of those plays. Every time he's off his screen, it's a good chance he's going to score a bucket or get you points. It's a positive outcome. So I don't think we expected this. Like, last year, there were moments where he was, he kind of felt like he belonged at times, but there were other times where he did not belong.
Beginning of the year, it's some people were saying he might be a write-off.
It was very rough.
You know what? We've been pro Gradey on this pod. Check the receipts last year. It's crazy how people last year were a month into his career are like, he's a bust. And people are, I know it's a what have you done for me lately society, but he needed time. He needed time to adjust. And I'll be the first one to admit, I didn't know his ceiling could potentially be higher than a good starter. I said that on our preview pod.
We said that.
But I'm having to recalibrate my expectations in real time when I'm watching him now.
And if I'm the front office right now, this is the dream scenario for Gradey's development because he's getting these reps, these high high octane clutch situations where he's getting to really test himself out, build confidence, and it's not undeserved. Like, he should be the one taking those shots.
The only thing that bugs me, and we saw it a couple times last night, just a little laissez-faire with the ball in late game situations.
What is he, 19?
Yeah, I know. But like, if he doesn't have a couple bad turnovers against Denver, maybe that game goes the other way. But hey, from a Raps perspective, we want a loss in that situation.
Explore the space, man. Like, Christian Brown got him a few times on isolations. Listen, man, he's 20 years old.
There you go.
Like, that's, to me, explore the space, young man.
The fact that Barnes and Quickly have been out and him and RJ have been carrying the offense. I mean, let's talk about RJ here.
Yes.
I mean, a couple of 30-point games in a row.
No big deal.
I mean, his facilitating has looked like it's gone up a little bit of a level. Rough shooting night against Denver.
He's commanding respect from defenses now. Like, if he gets that left hand, it's most likely to be a bucket or foul shots.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point, like, where he is right now. He's playing with confidence. I thought he was good at navigating doubles, blitzes, because teams are now respecting RJ Barrett. And I think
we've come a long way.
Hey, man, like, he was very efficient from the floor before the Nuggets game. That to me is going to be the biggest thing with him. Can he stick the three consistently? Can he shoot that at a 35% clip at the very least? His defense, I still worry. He is stout enough to guard.
The defense seems like it's not as bad as last year, though.
He's definitely improved from what I've seen. Small sample size. I don't want to be that dude. Like, fun police. Same thing with Gradey. Small sample size, but encouraging signs given the usage that they've had to take on.
Like, I mean, Barrett's efficiency took a leap when he joined the Raptors last year. Carried over for the first few games. I think the thing that jumps out for me, and I think about it from a betting lens, his dime seems to be at a completely different level. So that's I mean, look, if Scotty and IQ come back, maybe that
playmaking goes away a bit.
That's fine, okay? But just the ceiling in his playmaking now, some of the passes that he's making, he just didn't have that. He never showed that before. So that's something I'd be paying attention to if I'm looking at it from a betting perspective.
So here's my question. Once we see when IQ and Scotty are back, does this, based off of what we've seen so far, is that enough that maybe this could be, like, the bottom of the East is bad, you could kind of fight for that 9-10 seed?
Is that what you want?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's not what we should want as Raptors.
But
like,
hold on. I kind of talked about this at the beginning of the year, though. It's like, what's more important, bottoming out and getting a bad pick, or seeing the needed development in those guys?
What's happening
and the leap them making
right now?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Is the best case scenario. You're in tight games. You're playing a lot of clutch minutes. You're putting these young guys in situations where the pressure's on, and you could see the sphincters kind of tightening late in these games. There's some careless turnovers. Like, to me, this is prime real estate.
But they might be too good once they get Quickly and Barnes back.
I call it one of those good problems.
You let the chips fall. Yeah. Everyone comes back. You play everyone, and if you're good, so be it. What can you do? You these guys all need to play
good to a relative sense. Obviously,
and this is why I'm harping on the fact that I want to see a healthy team.
Yeah.
I just feel robbed of developmental currency right now, not seeing all these guys operate together.
Raptors have, like, what, 3 to 4 rookies that are constantly in the rotation. I think Darko Rajakovic deserves some praise for how he's, like, being able to slot these guys in. They don't look completely lost all the time. Like, they're actually in the right spots. They play hard. Yeah. 30-plus assists in 5 straight games. Like, that is if Quickly comes back in soon, hopefully, Scotty returns in a couple weeks, like, if they can kind of slot in, just be another cog, really important cogs in this machine, in this system that Darko's got going on, more aesthetically pleasing basketball is on the way. I like that.
But he deserves all of the credit because look around the rest of the NBA. Teams that have been hit hard with injuries, he's weathered the storm better than a lot of these other squads have.
The Raptors have almost $80 million in player salary on the bench right now injured. Yeah. So credit to him. Listen, at the end of the day, the biggest thing Darko needs to do is develop the players. That's priority number one with a bullet, right? So right now it looks like all these young guys are ready to play on a given night, and that's what makes this team fun to watch. You could tell the energy is infectious. They're playing hard. They're playing for each other. They're playing with enthusiasm, and that's something we didn't see at the end of the Nick Nurse era. That last year under Nurse was just joyless
they were checked
basketball.
out,
So
joyless.
You're right. I'd rather watch this team than that.
And look, I was just going to say, development's not reserved for just Scotty, RJ, and IQ. The rest of the bench, like Gradey, need these opportunities. And the best part to show that they are overachieving, the books are pricing them 14.5-point underdogs, 10-point underdogs. The Raptors bench mob has covered in 6 out of 7 games so far this season. That tells you everything you need to know about expectations for this bench team versus how they've been performing.
And also, like if you're calculating just the 10-man roster that they've used recently since Scotty went down, the average age is 24 years old. Yeah. Like that's like they're young and they're just kind of slotting in. Like, do you want to see these guys in the G League? Maybe they get more usage.
No,
there, but
I know.
They've proven that they can survive here, and that's good.
We haven't even talked about Pirtle, who's having a career year so far.
So rim protection's a little, for me, I think that's a place that leaves a little more to be desired. I want to see him kind of own the paint.
They don't have a substitute for him.
They don't. But man, he's been like offensively, I think he showed a nice floater game, little touch.
He's a veteran backbone that you need to function with a bunch of young guys.
I love how quickly he gets the ball up off the glass for these like tight layups in traffic too. Like
playing really well.
He's playing extremely well.
And he's a trade chip if you want to go in that direction.
So back to Wes's point though of how are we making money off the Raps? And yes, I think to your point, they're just until FanDuel lowers those odds, just keep betting them to cover. But let's talk about the win total, because when Scotty went down, I think it dropped to 28.5, and then it went as low as 26.5. Now it's hovered around 28, 29.5.
Juice to the under.
What do we think? Because once Scotty's back in 2-3 weeks, Quickly's been doubtful, I feel like, for a week, so that could be at any point now.
I'll use your logic. They have a tough.
Hold on, that's dangerous. what do you think? Why?
This is gonna be bad.
Where are we going here?
Hein logic. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule here. It's a West Coast gauntlet, so you'd likely assume that most of these are going to be lost.
So we're waiting.
Wait. It could come down a little further, and then you smash it.
I would be hesitant on any like Gradey Dick MIP markets as well, because like
the usage will decrease.
It's too early to really say put your money on that.
But when it comes to the win total, Hein logic would dictate that they will get better as better players re-enter the lineup. And I think that's the juggling act that Darko needs to kind of figure out. But I want them to go under the total. Personally, I want them to lose fun. Cover games.
Cover every week. In-game the other team when the Raptors are up in the fourth quarter, as we've done.
We may have done that a few times, and that's okay. Like I want to have fun watching the team. I want to see them play hard every night, and so far, they have done that.
They've played 3 barn burners already.
Yeah.
The Kings game, the both Nuggets games have been crazy. I mean, if you're just
a Cavs game,
if you're just a fan, you're getting your money's worth in terms of entertainment value.
Once again, as a fan, this is the most ideal of situations given the circumstance the team is under.
Yes.
All right, let's transition to the rest of the NBA, and we're gonna do our favorite surprises and our favorite disappointments. And I'm gonna start with it's a popular disappointment in this room, and that is in the world, that is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh yeah.
And this is just a dumpster fire. We got Embiid, I would say rightfully shoving a reporter for all the history that went down there, but it's meltdown city. And like, I know it's still early and you can still rebound, but why did this guy play in the Olympics if you're not ready to take a court right like in November right now?
I feel like I want to defend Philly here.
What's to defend?
So I think they thought they'd be better to start the year. I don't think.
Obviously, you don't see the Paul George injury coming.
You don't see that coming. I think you expected Tyrese Maxey to be able to carry a little bit of a load. I don't think they expected to be 1-5, 1-6, whatever it is.
They had a hard-fought loss against Phoenix.
Tough loss
against
Phoenix.
So hang the banner. Hang the banner.
With Paul George back, they lost a tight game at Phoenix, so they're going to play better.
But what do we complain about every year about Philly? Like again, I don't want to be the guy that defends this, but like.
But you are.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I have a soft spot for Embiid. I don't know why, even though he's a coward.
He's
a coward. I get it, but like to me, the end game is the playoffs.
Fair.
We complain every single year about him not being ready for the playoffs. I understand he played in the Olympics. What was stopping him or precluding him from not starting the season off right? I think there was a plan in place. I think Philly expected to be better. Now, I don't think any of the matters. They will win more games. Once George gets a little more acclimated to the team, they will win more games. Embiid will slotting into the lineup. They will win games. It's about how healthy he is come playoff time. But nothing else.
No, but we've seen this with the Heat over the last few years when it's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll just flip the switch. And yes, mixed results on that. Philly has not proven anything that they can just flip a switch and be this team to be like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll get there as an 8 seed. We don't need home court. We don't need any of that.
They have proven to be elite when Joel Embiid is in the lineup.
In the regular season, in small samples, yes.
So now they just need more wins. They need him to be elite and playing more often. My main concern is how does he look in April?
But even if you're giving him all this rest, he's still gonna be falling apart in April.
But hold on. Here's my question: is what's actually going on with this guy?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
After playing the Olympics, he's just not ready for 2.5 months. The season we're well into the season. He can't play. It's his knee.
He's ramping up.
It's his conditioning.
Ramping up.
What's up? Is it perma damage to his body that we don't know about?
We don't know. And if that's the case, and that's unfortunate, we don't know what the hell is
It's
up.
fishy.
And that's okay.
It's fishy.
It's fishy.
I'm of two minds of this. One is I kind of agree with you that in 40 games, they might be above 500 and they're in the 5 spot and everyone's like, who cares? The other part of me is it's all about the playoffs coming from Philadelphia. The team that can't get out of the second round is now hanging their hat on it's about the playoffs. Like,
why?
you haven't made it out of the second round.
But why haven't they been able to make it out of the second round? It's because Embiid wilts come playoff.
There's
time.
because Kawhi hit that buzzer beater against it. That's right. We can always watch it one more time, baby.
And that was probably Philly's best chance.
Bounce me. 4 bounce me.
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
A lot of times, it's multiple things. He wilts. He's out of shape. He's hurt.
It's a Siakam elbow to the eye. Like it's
a bit of bad
stuff.
luck, a bit of it's choking, a bit of it's physically wilting. There's
The out of shape stuff should never happen. And even this year, leading into the season, we had those same stories. Oh, best shape of his life. He's lost weight. He's ready to go. And people keep falling for it.
It's fishy. But let's reevaluate this in a month and see where they're at. Right?
That's pretty much where I stand. It's like, you know what? Give them time. And we'll see where it goes. I'm not jumping to any conclusions with them.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
All right, what's next? What about you? Are we sticking with disappointments or are we going to a surprise?
I don't go to a surprise. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are a really good regular season team. Kenny Atkinson's currently the favorite for Coach of the Year. Them and the Thunder. I think they're both to me, I worry about them come playoff time. I'm not advocating to bet them to win the East. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they have the right pieces. I still think the Mobley-Allen thing will be a thing come playoff time, but they are a regular season monster. To your point, we were talking before we taped, no one's really averaging that many minutes. It's pretty spread out.
Not a single person averages above 30 minutes on that team.
That's pretty good. I think Kenny Atkinson's doing a really good job.
The Atkinson diet. It's working for everybody.
Working real well.
The Atkinson diet.
Donovan Mitchell hasn't really been super athletic.
Do we have a group NBA Cup bet on them or no?
We might.
We might.
We also have them to win the division. I'm happy for Darius Garland. I think he's a good player who had a very rough season.
Yeah.
No, he's fully back. John Wick meme. He's back.
He said he lost his joy for ball last year.
He did. He had a lot of injuries. He had personal stuff going on. It's nice to see talented players kind of bounce back and not just wilt the other way. And
do you think a lot of these good vibes come from the fact that there was always that will he won't he speculation with Mitchell, and now we know Mitchell is locked in, and that kind of loosens everybody up around?
That's a very good point.
Should help a lot.
Yeah.
Fab brings us up all the time. Continuity is a big part of success,
Huge, yeah.
especially in the regular season. And Cleveland, these guys have been together for 3 years now? The total amount of time played. But Kenny Atkinson, the one thing that really jumps out with what he's applied for this team, they're flying. Up and down the court.
Yeah.
And everybody in preseason knew that was one of the things that was going to change with him being the coach. I'm not here to take a dump on JB Bickerstaff, but the way their offense ran compared to how Atkinson's got them playing now, they don't need to play over 30 minutes a night because they're stretching out such big leads in these games. Cleveland is for real in the regular season. They are the number 1 against the spread monsters right now. They've won 8 games. They're 8-0 against the spread.
And Evan Mobley has taken the leap.
Yes, he has.
The Allen Mobley thing. If they want to compete in the East with Boston, with New York,
it's
Philly,
it takes a move. I don't think any of us think that the current roster construction is not good enough to beat Boston.
You're wasting a lot of money on a spot where I believe over time Evan Mobley can be your full-time 5. So that's money that's allocated to a potential backup 5 in crunch time when it matters the most, where that money can be better spent in a wing position.
I was just going to add to Evan Mobley. He actually himself is part of the solution to fixing this issue. You're going to watch him with more and more and more games take more and more three-pointers. Yeah. He's getting really good from deep. They're just not applying that right now. I think when they probably want to start scheming and being more intelligent about how they're going to set up for playoff basketball, they're going to ask and lean on Mobley to hit three-pointers who small per game sample size, but he shoots it at a very efficient clip. So that's something you should probably pay attention to if you're talking about it from a betting lean. Watch that as time progresses.
You need a Jared Allen type in the regular season to eat up innings, right? Like you go up against like a big like
you don't want that wear and tear of Mobley at the center for the entire regular season.
I
But
think
come important playoff minutes, yes, that's how they should be playing.
in the playoffs a lot better.
I think it's fair to say Mobley is going to determine the ceiling for the
for
Cavs.
sure.
Yeah.
Whether they could. Right now, they're nestled into that. Probably the best team behind Boston so far in the East. For now, he's going to determine how good they can be.
And he's third favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. We don't think he'll win it, but he's
Yeah.
up there. That shows you how good of a season he's had.
Yeah.
Central Division lock.
Yeah.
Lock.
And did we give that out last week or no?
I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Fab
So
mentioned
like,
on Pod
yeah.
and you know what?
Shout
Yeah.
out.
CLV. Babe,
CLV,
once
hang the
again,
banner.
we all got our bet in. I
Hang
think
the-
what is it now? -300.
Probably.
Hang
So
the
like
banner,
that is
CLV.
the Cavs division ship just like
Well, that's
sailing off out of
feels like
port.
a good segue.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Oh,
one
who, the
more
Bucks?
time? Oh yeah, why not? Let's do it one more time.
Well, you know how I feel about them. I called them frauds last week.
Fugazi.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Both
And
terms
it's
apply.
getting worse. It's getting worse for the Milwaukee Bucks. They have one win. They're behind the Raptors
Yeah.
in the standings right now.
Oh yeah.
Fairness to them, Lillard did show up. Two very close losses to the Cavs where Lillard went
They almost
off.
came back. Well, they were down big, and then they came back.
The problem remains they can't guard anybody. They're not winning games. At the end of the day, you have to start winning games, and they're not.
Here we go. We're diving deep into the stats. Since 1970, 150 NBA teams have started 1 or 6 or worse. Just 12 of those teams, 12 of 150, went on to make the playoffs. None won more than 47 games.
Damn.
Yeah,
So-
that's rough.
Well, I mean, here's where that doesn't matter is they didn't have to play in.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
that's
a little
true.
bit,
helps.
you know,
A little
I'll
helps.
bounce back a little on that, but
in the East, a 30-win team might get into
Yeah,
the
that's-
well, that's
yeah.
we
If
talked about it with the Raptors. What is the 10 seed? How many wins does the 10 seed have in the play-in? 32?
Who knows,
Yeah.
right? But going back to the Bucks, one thing we talked about last week, obviously they're not playing defense. We cited athleticism problem. The other thing I want to point out, if you're in fantasy and you own Giannis, you know this. Where's his defense gone?
Yeah.
This guy's not doing anything on that end either, and that's concerning. If this former defensive player of the year is in this form right now, you really worry that, the sun is setting for this team. That's the second oldest team in the NBA. There are a lot of worries that this team's as fragile as it gets. Chris Middleton, we don't even bring up anymore because he just didn't show up. I think it's done for him.
he had he had surgeries on
Yeah.
both ankles.
I don't think Middleton comes and solves your defense.
Of course not.
Athleticism problems.
So where is the light at the end of the tunnel for this team?
So-
I don't think there's a lot.
So ultimately, what are we saying here? Do we think they? I mean,
Fade all things Bucks.
They're a playoff team. I would assume so. Still, the odds say they will.
If
I'm
I'm gonna go throw a dart, go find odds to miss playoffs for just a full disaster.
also-
They sell off everything. That'd
This
be
is
great.
purely anecdotal and eye test. When you watch them, they're playing joyless basketball. It's like they look like they don't want to be there.
because they have a joyless coach.
Yes, yeah, man. Like,
They're a team that their only move to really reboot is to trade Giannis.
Yeah.
Are they willing to do that? That's way easier said than done. But this team's not winning the championship. Definitely not.
no.
Don't think
So what are your moves? Limp into the playoffs and get smoked,
if
or do you do the smart thing and
What are the sorry? And maybe we should have looked this up before. What's their in-game win total? When was the last time we saw that?
I think it dropped 46-ish after opening right around 50.
yeah, an open around 50. Last time we checked, at
Trust
our
the
good friends at
graphic.
Fan-
Trust
yeah,
the graphics.
trust the
Don't
graphics.
trust
So
us.
are we smashing under?
It was yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
if you trade Giannis, you probably have to trade Dame as well, right?
Yeah,
All
you
of it.
trade
what,
both. You
what
trade
are you
both.
hanging
the
on
problem.
to
The
for?
problem is getting
And
good value
Lopez.
for Dame at this point. Is gonna be
Miami
tough.
will still.
That-
Miami will kick the
Teams
tires
out
on
there.
Lillard.
Dame is. They're gonna keep the tires on Giannis. How about that?
Well.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Yes.
Assume Miami's the favorite.
Yeah.
Fire
I
any
just
star.
assume if Giannis is realistically a trade thing, I just assume that's where OKC is like, oh, okay, we have all this now.
We
This is
talked
the
about
reason
it
that we
last
have
We'll
this.
see if it gets really bad. We'll see how this plays out.
Just
Yeah.
your
I will
7
say this
first.
though, almost always front offices aren't smart enough to swallow the pill and do it. So it's probably not going to happen. But realistically, the way things are looking, that's probably the best course of action.
It's also early, man. I'll be the contrarian here. I think it's worth buying the dip. Why not?
Why not?
Make the play in. I wonder what
What do we?
the
Yeah,
odds
the
make it.
Bucks play-in odds. Maybe that's the move.
It is
right
at the end of
there.
the- it is Giannis.
Yeah.
I think he will. He's dealing with an abductor strain right now. Yeah, I think he might figure it out. I'm not sold yet. It's still very small sample size. Same thing with the Philly stuff. I'm willing to give them
okay,
time.
But once again, they're not gonna play a defensive game that can win a championship.
Yeah.
Like, where do you see them fixing this?
Regular season, I think they can outscore.
So what?
teams.
Gary Trent's gonna turn up and become a
3D.
stopper.
3D.
Middleton on no ankles is gonna.
Too much elite talent, in my opinion.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
but
that's
you're
fair.
not beating Boston.
No.
So it doesn't matter.
I'm
This
not
team's
talking
built to
about
win the
that.
championship.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not-
championship,
Not talking about that. Not talking about winning the East.
But
or
it's
anything
championship
like
or bust for Milwaukee.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
why you make the Dame trade.
From a
to
team
win a
building
title.
perspective, which
Yeah.
was now looking back at that Dame trade, could really use Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Any team that trades for Drew wins the title, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What else we got? Is that it?
No, we got one more.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it so much a surprise, but I think it's worth flagging. Zach Edey has had a nice bounce back after starting really slow.
Yep.
Very slow. He got a nice little cupcake matchup against the Nets, and he took advantage of it.
Yeah.
He went ham on them. So
Best game as a
Edey's-
pro.
Edey, best game as a pro. He's now back in the driver's seat for Rookie of the Year. Perfect segue to the graphic. Don't forget, we talked about this. The Canadian content SGP. Edey's back in number 1 for Rookie of the Year. SGA at the top of that list. And a little RK Barrett
RK
love there.
Barrett.
Third
Yeah.
for MIP right now, 12-1. All right. So it's nice to see that Edey, who was a favorite coming in, lost a bit of steam. He's now picked it back up.
4 straight games, double.
I think a lot of it with him, at least early, is going to be matchup based.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
going to be teams that are going to be like, oh, this is not an Edey game, and that's okay. But yeah, you flagged it yesterday in the group chat, or I think Fab flagged it, and it's
did.
like he is going to eat against a team like Brooklyn. And when you have those matchups, look at his points and ladder him up.
Yep.
He's at an interesting point right now where he's big. I think he's in the right spots. He's just not really affecting things defensively as much. I think, man, give him like 25 games, and then he might just start doing it because his awareness is high. He's there, man. He had a sequence in that game against the Nets where he blocked the shot, trailing 3, just banged
Yeah,
it
he
in.
banged
like,
a 3.
like,
If he starts extending his range a
Oh
bit,
my
becomes a way more interesting
he
player,
becomes
right?
a unicorn. Like that's unicorn
Well,
type
he's
stuff.
he's old too, though, right? Like guy was a 4-year starter, so like he has that ball IQ. He's not young by
If
any
he can
stretch.
figure out just his defensive positioning, impacting defense a little bit more. Like he's still getting, I think the expectation was a guard gets him one-on-one. He thinks it's cookies, like he's going to take him off the dribble. But like, give him 25 games, give him 30. He stays within himself. If he can remain big and be in the right spots and contest, I think Rookie of the Year. I think
he's in a good position. He's in a good looking.
Let's finish with some more Canadian content because, as everyone knows, the Vince Hall of Fame ceremony. That was Saturday, Fab. We all saw you.
Star of the show.
Stole the show in that feature. There we go. Fab wants his apology, and he wants it now.
Still hasn't
I'm
got
just
it
here
yet.
to speak my truth, man. I have nothing else to say.
Still waiting.
Cool ceremony.
Do you think
glad
Vince?
it's done.
Do you think Vince was up at night being like? Because it's funny in that feature, everybody pretty much came and like thanked Vince, apologized, and I was watching with my wife. I'm like, we ain't seeing Fab. Fab ain't coming back and saying that. We aren't getting the Fab apology at the end of this, and we did not. But credit to Vince because a new meme was born. Maybe one of my favorites. We've seen so many, and this is not Vince's first time in the meme community. That I got one more in me, and now we have this as you see in front of us. The Vince meme, our new favorite basketball meme of the season, hands down.
He was fired up at that point. I mean, those were legit tears.
Oh yeah, it was. I think from a broadcast standpoint, I think that's pretty much as good of that could have went for our boy Hambone.
Well done to Hambone and the TSN team for a well done, well produced game.
Although I'm sure some people are holding their breath when Drake's on the mic and starts just firing those shots at DeRozan.
No, not me, man. Chaos is a ladder, man. That's that kind. I love when Drake's on the mic. He drinks a little too much and starts saying.
He's in his feelings right now for sure.
Yes, it's cool, man. It's what did Javon Shepard tell us in a group chat? These are rich people problems. they're just bored. This is what bored people do when they have a lot of money. Here's the thing I'll say about Vince. All right. He's about to have his jersey retired by the Nets as well. If I see the same kind of emotion.
No, I don't think we do.
If I see the same kind of emotion, I'm going to feel a certain way about it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
all I'm
I agreed.
all I'm gonna
Agreed.
say.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think you can replicate what that was there. Like, that meme is real. I think that's real. I think there's a lot of pain.
But what kind of emotion's going to be in the arena in Brooklyn?
No,
Are all the people from New Jersey going to come over by the thousands?
So there's no, I would take minus
By the
like
hundreds.
1,000.
By the
Minus
hundreds,
1,000,
yeah.
he won't
Man, the
respond like that.
turnpike's going to be jammed, man. All those Nets fans from Newark.
You know, the story of Vince Carter's like legacy with the Raptors. It's a story of forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. Okay, he did a lot of harm to this fan base, and a lot of people still don't forgive him for that. But this is the full circle moment. You know, winning heals all.
He mentioned it that game in 2014 when he came as a visitor with the Grizzlies.
Oh yeah.
Standing ovation.
Yeah, he said that point it changed.
Yeah.
He referenced that.
And that was 10 years later.
That's all for us. We'll see you back here next week. And reminder, hit us up on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. 5-star, like and subscribe.